Welcome to the Power of Owning Your Career podcast, the show for women who are seeking more fulfillment in life and simply not getting it from their current situation. We focus specifically on careers, but hey, we spend a lot of time in our careers, so making changes here will definitely create an impact in your overall happiness. I'm your host, Simone Morris, and my mission is to empower women to succeed. I believe that in order to powerfully own your career, you must decide and claim that you want to sit in the driver's seat. You must know that you deserve better and be willing to not only do the requisite work, but be willing to go out on a limb to ensure your success. Each episode focuses on profiling a leader who is clearly demonstrating ownership of their career. Join me and my guests as we explore career journeys and bring you actionable strategies to use to get into the driver's seat for your career. Because ultimately, your career is your responsibility. Let's get into the show.
Hey everybody, it's Simone Morris. Just wanting to come and talk to you. It's mid-January, and to me it's really amazing that the year has just taken off so quickly and we're ready mid-January. Amazing. I want you to take a time out to just make sure that you are filling yourself with nutrients for the long haul. And what I mean by that is, I just wrote a message to my community in the newsletter, and I told them that I have this plant that I have been ignoring and not watering, and I'm noticing that it's not as vibrant as it could be. And so the message here and relevance to you and your career and being in the driver's seat is that really you need to make sure that you are filling yourself with nutrients for the long haul, whether that is taking time out for self-care, whether that is collaborating with others so that it's not such a huge task to do it all by yourself, whether it is planning, just taking time to plan and be intentional about your results for 2020 and beyond. Whatever you decide to do, take a pause today and fill yourself up so that you can, again, go the long haul in retaining your position in the driver's seat.
I am so excited to have a friend join the podcast this week. Kim and I go way back, way back, I think. And she's a fellow coach and entrepreneur. Kim Lachapelle is definitely in the driver's seat for her career. And I'm excited for her to share with you her story of how she got to the driver's seat. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, Simone.
Awesome. So Kim, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're currently doing.
So I'm doing absolutely what I love to do, which is helping people in mind, body, spirit in like all ways. I've done that for a long time through coaching, and now I've taken it to the next level with my own business in fitness and nutrition. So I own a fitness nutrition center full-time and then still do coaching part-time on the side.
Awesome. So what are some of the highlights of your career as you think back?
Oh, wow. There's so many highlights. I think the biggest thing when I look back at my whole journey is because I came to the United States from Canada. I don't know if you even knew that, Simone.
I did not.
Yeah, I know. So when I came here and I received a green card to start, it was just about getting my feet wet. My mom lived here. And so I started at a company as a part-time cashier just to get something American on the resume. And when you talk about owning your career, I look back and it's, we just really have to be in the driver's seat from square one, because I worked my way up at that company from $5 an hour part-time cashier throughout 25 years of making over 100K to, regional management. That's awesome. When I look back, the highlight was every time I started to get bored or felt stale, I did something. I made a goal. I looked at what I wanted, and then I just continued to strive towards it.
Wonderful. Where does that come from? Where does that, I want to say work ethic, but just that knowingness that it's important to set goals and to realize that you're not challenged and bored and to move forward to the next thing consistently? Because you mentioned 25 years. Where did that come from?
I think just kind of number one, naturally being a go-getter. And one thing that I've always done is I've been like an observer. So I'm a little introvert, which people think you are not, because I'm out there all the time. So like, just I'm out there all the time, hot and heavy, but I am truly one to sit back and observe, like, that's how I get my energy. That's how I just fill myself, is through the quiet time. And so I would just kind of sit back and look to say, who's doing what I like? And I think more importantly, where do I see people that I don't like? Like, where don't I want to go? Mm-hmm. And so I would take that as a lesson as I would watch people either with jobs they didn't enjoy, or they didn't have that passion, they didn't have that joy, they didn't have that energy. And I just never wanted to be that. I've always wanted to have some kind of a spark in my life. And so as soon as things just didn't feel right, I just knew like it was just time to, okay, what's the next thing I want to conquer? What's the next thing I want to conquer? Because I just feel we are just also capable of so much more than we think we are.
Absolutely. So what is your viewpoint of risk and how that plays out in your career?
So it's scary for sure. Risk is scary. And honestly, I learned how to be a good soldier too, so I learned how to follow the rules. I learned how to follow policy. I learned to say, okay, what does this company want? What does this job entail? And then just really executing really well. And the risk for me was, after many years, probably like 15 years, seeing that I didn't want to be a soldier anymore. So although I continued to rise up and continue to be promoted and continue to do these things, that I got there by not being truly true to myself, because I just kind of followed the rules in the way it was supposed to be. And so the first true risk I think I took was actually sharing who I was, like, as a person, and kind of where I saw myself going forward, and starting to question the status quo, if you will. And what ended up happening is it made me even a better leader doing that. Much more respected, of course, in the roles that I had. And it also allowed me to really seek out a different vision and a different path, which led me to where I am now.
Awesome. Yeah. So for you, as you think back, what was the signifying moment to you that you were actually in the driver's seat for your career?
It was actually after so many years, again, a fantastic history at this company. I was on the succession plan for regional management. I remember it so clearly. And I remember being at this big executive meeting where we were talking about making a bunch of changes. And when you just have that sense that something's taking a turn for the worse, I had that sense that this new company was coming in and I was on the chopping block for the first time. And I had survived through like 7 different layoffs at this company. And I just felt, And so the next week I went and talked to my boss, and I said, this is what I'm feeling. Can we have an honest conversation? We had an honest conversation. And at that moment I saw that my career may have been over for no reason about performance at all, just that it was time to change. And it was really that moment that I owned needing to be in the driver's seat, because I was like, wow, like 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, we put our family on hold. We put things on hold for the companies we work for because we have a great work ethic, and we want to do a good job. And then coming to see that so quickly in so many markets now, in so many companies, your 24 hours can change like that. And it has nothing to do with performance. And that's when I really stepped out, and said, okay, now I'm in the driver's seat. I asked for a different position at that time that may suit better as to where the company was going. And I did land that job, but everything changed. Everything changed for me from that point going forward.
Wow. Super awareness.
Super awareness. And that's where actually I got the idea. I have an ebook out there, and it talks about this situation, because I started to look at that time, not only taking the driver's seat in my career, but that led to taking the driver's seat in my life and questioning, where was I not being authentic? Where was I not being true to myself? And I started to question things that I never questioned before. And it's so uncomfortable to use that word fake, but I started looking at where truly, now that this has all come to a head, truly, where are you not being your true self in different areas? And I saw it was many more areas than I would care to admit. So then I just started a whole new level of journey of self-discovery, personally and professionally. And it's obviously hard to do that. And sometimes it can be taxing for sure and not always pleasant, but I believe it always leads to the brighter light,
Absolutely. It sounds to me, there's a couple things I want to say. The first thing is, in hindsight, I wonder if that was a gift to you and how, just seeing how much your life has changed since that moment.
Oh, it was such a gift because I honestly cannot imagine still being in that environment with how everything has shifted the last few years. Like, I would be losing out in so much joy and happiness today if I just would have stayed stuck and allowed the corporation and their decisions to control my path,
Absolutely. And I want to ask you to share with our listeners what message or what resource was helpful to you in this time to really be brave and sort of walk away from what's comfortable and what's known to carve out a new path for yourself.
Right. I think probably the biggest resource at that time was taking a look to say, especially as coaches, we're coaching and helping direct and helping people find their own truth and their path and their passion and maximize their potential. And at least for me, sometimes I can forget to honor that and give myself that. So the best resource at that time, I truly did go back through resources that I had through, the school that I went to coaching for, IPEC. I started looking through my books that I had, the energy leadership books. I started asking myself the questions I was asking my clients. And truly, any leadership book that has to do with life and career, I don't know if there's a bad one. I've never read a bad one. Some we may enjoy more than others. But it was starting to tap into my own personal development again. Google's our friend now too. There's so much out there just with inspiration and motivation and opening my mind up to just bigger things and not being stuck. So I think the greatest resource to go back was the skill set and the education that I already had and tapping back into that, going backwards a little bit first before moving forward to say, I have all of this. Am I utilizing it to the best of my ability? And seeing that I wasn't. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
And just really beautifully stated. I love that. Where you are today, what would you say is your formula for successfully owning your career? What are the ingredients?
I think what would be the formula is we get up and we show up. Like, it's really that simple. We get up and we show up. I always like to say we stick with the plan. Even though the plan can change every day, we're going to stick with the plan, meaning that we have a goal, we have a vision, and we're going to continue to work towards it. But at the same time, not worrying about how we're going to get there. Like, I truly believe in, we talk about being human beings instead of human doers. So as much as I'm a planner, and I really am, I'm a planner, I am a goal setter, but reminding myself.
We get along so well.
Huh?
No one gets along so well.
Yes, exactly. But being able to, sit back and breathe, even if it's a minute a day, to say, all right, how am I being in this moment and how am I not controlling the outcome? Because many times when we're following the rules, we're being that good soldier. We think we know what's best for us. We've created a path to get to an outcome we desire, but where we're supposed to be maybe in a completely different place. So just remembering to allow ourselves to go off path. So we stick to the plan as far as getting up and showing up, but allowing ourselves to go kind of off path, take a right, take a left sometimes and see where we land. And being open to listen to the messages that are out there.
Absolutely. So what resources, online or otherwise, have helped you to own your career?
So let me see. I have definitely reading books is so important. I know that one that was changing for me was The Four Agreements. That's definitely a great resource.
Yeah.
I love resources as far as networking with other women or men that are kind of in the same mindset, in a positive mindset, looking to move forward. I really believe in mastermind groups. I just finished a book club actually on, was it John Maxwell's the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So just finished that mastermind group, starting another one in 2 weeks for the 7 habits of highly effective people. So people are such a great resource. Networking is such a great resource, especially as an entrepreneur. As you know, we can get caught out. I'm sure you know, in our office, singular, and we forget there's an outside world outside of online sometimes. So to get up and show up there as well, showing up at events, showing up at networking events, whether it's chamber events or, again, any kind of network that serves you best, and meeting other individuals so you can learn from them, share ideas.
Yeah. Do you find that this advice that you're talking about where you are now would work for a person that's in the corporate space?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because even when I received my coaching certification, initially it wasn't about going off and having my own business. So when I was in an HR role, I was actually at a training event for an assessment, and I heard that there were some coaches in that room. And so it just, again, being open to listen, I heard something for the first time, and I was like, I've been managing people for 20 years. What are you talking about professional coaching? Like, I am a coach, but being open to hear something new and then doing some research behind that and then going to school to get certified, like that's a certification that really helped me professionally in the corporate world. Forget about even outside, learning how to effectively communicate better, how to help people reach their goals better, personal development, again, how to raise the bar within my own standards in my career, personally and professionally. So I think a lot of the stuff that we do outside as entrepreneurs and business owners, absolutely 110%, also helps us with our career in the corporate environment, for sure. I know that when I'm like doing well for me and I am doing self-discovery and work on myself, that it makes me a better person, which makes me a better leader, which makes me a better employee, which makes me a better manager, in whatever setting, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, totally makes sense. There was one question that I wanted to ask you. Was there ever a time where you felt like you avoided responsibility for your career?
Yeah, because even when I said like I was always had that goal to like move up when things got stale, like keep moving forward. On the other end of that, there were times where I would maybe judge other people in the environment, other leaders in the environment that I worked in, and why am I working so hard and setting these goals when I would judge others? Maybe I didn't think they were working as hard as me or seemed to get away with things that I didn't get away with, and why am I working so hard? And it would only, for me though, it's just not in my nature. It would last like maybe 48 hours where I'd be a little lazy about things and avoid some responsibility. But then I would just like tap right back into, it doesn't feel good for me. Like it doesn't feel good. So I would just tap back in and go, no, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. I am responsible for me and me only. And I want to do good and I want to feel good, about what I'm doing. And so then I would just kind of shift that mindset to say, hold on, sister, move forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely times it didn't last very long. That's for sure. Just because it didn't feel good.
Sure. That's very mature and mature of you, But it's about the journey that we're all on. So
yes.
Totally get where you're coming from. So as we begin to wrap up the interview, tell us a little bit about the Max Challenge and what you're doing right now with that.
Oh my God, it's so exciting. So the Max Challenge is actually a franchise, and we're the first one in Connecticut. We're in South Windsor. And what we do is we offer the absolute best, seriously, it is the funnest environment to be in, of group fitness classes, as well as nutritional counseling and motivation, so that our members can get fast and lasting changes, not only to health and appearance, but fitness levels as well in just 10 weeks. And we really focus on mind, body, spirit there. We do success coaching with our members all throughout. And, we started our first challenge 2 years ago with 100 members. We're up over 300 members now. It is just an amazing place to be. And it has taken everything from my retail background, operations, HR, health and wellness, coaching. It's taken all of my education, my certifications, my experience of like 30 years, and now it's all in one place. And to your point earlier, Simone, if that situation wouldn't have occurred years ago, I would not have been open to even seek out something like this, as grand as it is, as an opportunity for me. So you're right. Everything is a blessing and everything is a gift. So we take it and we run with it, you know?
That's right.
It's been
in the
amazing.
driver's
Thank
seat.
you.
Yeah, you're in the driver's seat for sure. So tell the listeners how they can stay connected with you. What's the best way to reach out to you if they'd like to?
So you can definitely email at kim@kimlachapelle.com. You can check out my website for the coaching, kimlachapelle.com. But there's actually free resources as well. You can download a free meditation CD that's professionally recorded, as well as my free ebook. Or if you're in the South Windsor area, go to themaxchallenge.com in South Windsor, and you can reach out to me there, and we can get you in for a class and talk about what that looks like.
All right. Well, Kim, thank you so much for being a guest on the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. It has been my pleasure. And I learned that you're from Canada.
I know.
Which I don't know how I didn't hear it in the accent. I'm listening closely still, and I still don't hear it. But
well, I've been here a long time now, so
yeah.
Thank you. It's been great. Thank you so much, Simone, for thinking of me.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. It is my hope that you enjoyed today's episode. You can check out the show notes for this episode on the SimoneMorrisEnterprises.org website by clicking the podcast menu. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and tell a friend or two about it.